Hello, everyone, and welcome to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park for the AEC, the American Endurance Championship here, powered by IVRC.eu. Welcome along. I'm Ewan, only commentating for you today, and we're currently in qualifying, just at the end of GTD qualifying. And as you can see, it's Sven Gilhold, the Dutch driver, who is currently top of the standings by 0.4 of a second. And yeah, it's all looking very nice and close between those 8 GTD drivers. Got 12 minutes to go in the session. So that is the end of the GTD qualifying. They've had 10 minutes. And that is it for those guys. We can have a look at the standings in its entirety. Gabriel Peachley is in second position with Adrian in third there. So yeah, there's all your standings. And then you've got a load of drivers who are going to be qualifying down the order, or not down the order, sorry, but who are going to be qualifying in a little bit of time, if you understand what I'm saying. And the DPI and the LMP2 cars will be going out with 10 minutes to go in the session here. Yeah, welcome along, everyone. Everyone who's joining in. A new series here for IVRC. And for the very first time, we've got DPIs. And for the first time I know of anywhere, DPIs racing with LMP2s, GTDs, the whole lot here in the American Endurance Championship. We're calling it American, but we're actually starting here in Canada at Mosport, a very fast-flowing circuit. People enjoy it quite a lot as well, quite a fan favourite within the drivers anyway. But it's Sven Gilhold who takes GTD pole, the 2020 Race of Champions winner, taking it. So that's a great drive from him to take the pole. Done it by 0.4 of a second. Just hear the engines start to rev up now as they get ready. And you can really hear them revving up now. And there we go. We can see the first of them leaving the pit lane. Apologies for jumping around a lot, but I'm going to try and find him. There he is in the LMP2 car. That's the number 63, I think. No, the 53, sorry. Leaving the pit lane. So 10 minutes, as I said, for the prototypes. DPI and LMP2 both out here today. They're going to be seeing what they can do. Very nice livery, by the way, on this 53 car. I'd love to be able to tell you who it is, but I forgot to write the car numbers down when I was making notes on the drivers. So we'll have to wait until he gets to the line. And then on the bottom right-hand side of the screen, as you'll notice on the graphics, we will see a countdown or a counting up timer, if you see, on the bottom left. Sorry, the bottom right. We'll be able to see who it is, just warming their tyres now as they run down the back straight towards a very fast final sector. Just 9 minutes in this session, really. Oh, clipping the curb there at the third to last corner. Now here we go. Final corner. I'm going to go on board for a little bit here. Within the cockpit, on board with Pablo Lopez. Flying through turn number 1. And then downhill, the blind turn 2. Try not to run it out too wide over that curve on the right-hand side. And second gear for turn 3. And then another blind apex, but this one's flat out under the Live Racers bridge. Now into what would probably be known as turn 5 and 6. A little bit wide of the second apex there, using first gear to get the car turned in. Now running down the back straight. You see one of the Cadillacs in the background there, by the way. That's one of the DPI cars. Slightly faster, ever so slightly faster than the LMP2s. Obviously, a few years ago in IMSA, they were balanced, these two cars, but not anymore. The DPIs have been leapt or have been kind of left to their own devices and leapt free from everybody. So Lopez goes to the top in LMP2, and in DPI, it's Brzezinski who goes to the top of the timing sheets with a 4.1 lap time there. Is Peter Jones, who was topping the practice sessions earlier on today with a 3.8 in his Mazda, goes to the top of the timing sheets for 2012 Motorsport. He's also doing the 2020 touring car season, by the way. Is the British driver, so doing a lot of things in and around this community. It's Felipe Murno. Lucas Murno. Sorry, getting his first name wrong there. Goes to the top of the timing sheets right now in his Acura. So we've got Acura, Mazda, and Cadillac in the top three right now. What can Brudzinski do as he just comes across Lopez in the LMP2? Up towards the line now. Sorry, it's Pedro Lopez, not Pablo Lopez. Or is it? Don't know. It is. I was right the first time. It's Pablo. But there you go. Lopez actually in fourth position overall at the moment, which is just ahead of Orimas Auger, the Lithuanian driver, who's currently driving for Team Tempest Racing, also in a Mazda. Here he is. Kind of black and blue kind of livery. And this is Alfie Bevin, the British driver for FRA Sim Racing, the Swedish team. He was fourth in the 2020 Race of Champions here for IVRC. Currently in second in class there, behind Pablo Lopez. Going to need to find 7/10 of a second if he wants to get to the top of the times. Here he is in the final couple of corners, or the tightest two corners on the circuit. As I said earlier, very fast and flowing circuit here as Orimas Auger is going to come towards the line again, but he misses the final apex there. And he can't improve by any means. See what Peter Jones can do here, because he was running around pretty well in the practice session, as I said. Got a new time on the board there. Coming in towards the middle part. Oh, a bit of a spin there for Peter Jones. And he just gets out the way in time. But there you have it. Carl Magnus Borg, the Swedish driver, getting up into fourth overall there and first in LMP2 as Brudzinski goes to the top now as well. So it's Cadillac, Acura, then Mazda in DPI. And then we've got Borg and Lopez at the top of LMP2. This is Orimas Auger, who's not going to improve on his lap time either. Alfie Bevin, 7th. And then we have Julian Jeans in the LMP2 here in 8th position, as Auger does actually improve into 5th. Splits Borg and Lopez in LMP2. Yeah, this is Julian Jeans. Came 5th in the winter series just gone last winter. 5th overall in the championship, that is. Got 8 prototypes out here at the moment. I believe this is all we're going to get. Excuse me for looking at this, by the way, but oh no, we're expecting one more there. Eliseo Neto in the Cisco Air Racing DPI car is also going to have a run out in this one. Oh, into the wall there for Pablo Lopez. Bit of a shame for him there, but he's still off and running. Here's Auger again, who's continually improving in this session, actually. A little bit squirmish onto the front straight there. And he does improve into 4th position. 1.7 seconds off the pace, but he manages to haul himself up above the LMP2 cars at least. This is Felipe, sorry, I don't know why I keep calling him Felipe. This is Lucas Murno, Brazilian driver. And the man who won the Bathurst 200 last year, just goes to the top of the standings there. Brudzinski's going to have to reply in the Cadillac there with just 2 minutes to go. We're really outlining a top three here in DPI, it has to be said. Here's Brudzinski on a bit of an outlap, going for one more attempt. Here is Peter Jones, 5 tenths behind Lucas Murno. I need to get that in my head quickly. But as you can see, the gap between the DPIs and the LMP2s really isn't that very big, and Peter Jones just gets his left-hand Michelins onto the grass. So then, go for a lap on board with Mr. Brudzinski, and we'll see what he can produce for us. We're going downhill, left-hander. Commitment needed, and he's given it to us. See if he can just improve by 0.03 of a second or better and get onto that top spot of the standings once again. Don't forget today, in case I haven't explained already, but I was hoping you'd know. Maybe you don't. 90-minute race today here at Mosport, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Round 1 of the American Endurance Championship, powered by IVRC.eu. We're into the final 3 corners for Brudzinski, a little bit wide of the apex at the third to last one. 2 wheels through the penultimate corner. This does not look the tidiest as he comes over the line now. Can't improve. He can't improve. Can Murno improve though? Took 2 race wins last year in the WEC. Is he going to add to that today? Well, a pole position would do him just nicely. He can't improve quite on his lap time though. Peter Jones up towards the line, but he can't improve on his lap time either. He stays in 3rd position, but he's going to have one more go at this. As is Brudzinski. Gustavo Brudzinski, bit of a slide on the exit of that corner there, as Teglis is improving, which is not true because GTDs aren't allowed out right now. So that's definitely not true. It's only up to the DPIs and the LMP2s. Here he is, Gustavo Brudzinski. Final couple of corners for him. And we'll see where this lap time is going to put him. Can he get onto the pole as he comes up towards the line? No, he can't. He cannot improve on his lap time. What about Peter Jones, who's also in the final section now, just in behind one of the LMP2 cars. But he's not going to have traffic to deal with on this particular lap. That's actually Lopez in front of him right now, who's trying to get a LMP2 pole of his own. Here he comes, Peter Jones over the line, and he goes to the top. Peter Jones, the British driver, by 19 thousandths of a second, manages to take pole position away from Lucas Murno and Gustavo Brudzinski. What a fantastic lap that was. It's going to be Carl Magnus Borg on pole for LMP2. And in GTD, as we already mentioned earlier on, Sven Guhold is on pole. But what a lap that was from Peter Jones. Just going to watch along with Brudzinski as well, because it looks like he's pushing, but he's going to come into the pit lane, of course, because the time is up. There he is, Peter Jones. There's a bit of things going on here on the final lap. Jones, Murno, Brudzinski showing themselves to be the front runners in this American Endurance Championship. At 90 minutes in this race coming up very shortly. As I said, apologies for the slightly rushed introduction to the stream. I'm Ewan O'Leary, and I'll be taking you through the next 90 minutes. And yeah, it's just me on my own for this one. You can catch us in a couple of weeks' time as well, by the way, in the AEC. That's what American Endurance Championship stands for, by the way. As as someone from the GTD category just disconnects there, I think. Oh no, it was second place man Lucas Murno, which just demotes us down to 16. Hopefully, he can get back in for the race. I hope that he can. Neto hasn't done a lap time, by the way. I'm hoping that he will race in the end. But yeah, as I said, you can catch us a couple of weeks away at Road America for another 90-minute race for round number 2. Then after that, it's Laguna Seca, and then for round number 4, it's the first properly endurance race, or slightly longer race in this championship, at least anyway. Road Atlanta, 2-hour race, that one. Long Beach is going to be a bit of a crash back down to reality for some of these guys. At round number 5, that's 90 minutes as well. Then we've got Mid-Ohio for round 6, and then the big one. Round number 7 is at Daytona International Speedway, and it's for 6 hours. We've already had a 6 hours of Daytona here, by the way, for IVRC. Trying to find through my notes who won it, but I can't for the time being. So I might blur that out at some point. But yeah, as I said, we've already had one. Murno's back in. And yeah, I'll just run through some of the guys down in GTD, since we haven't given those guys enough recognition just yet. It's Gilhold from Peaksley, from Adrian, Teglas, Godoy, Lorena Vicius, the Lithuanian driver, in 14th. Thankfully, his nephew isn't here, because then there will be 2 of them. And then we have some more of those guys down there. Yeah, there you go. So it's Solicius Laurinivicius driving for SL Racing in a GTD Porsche here today. As you can see, we're just in the warm-up session right now. Not sure if we're going to do the whole of this warm-up or what, but yeah, we're in the warm-up anyway. Also down the order just a little bit further. Felix Kims, the Kenyan driver, driving for Panorama Racing, also in a Porsche. So he's going to be one to watch, and didn't actually get that. Well, that's one of the Porsches going out right now in the warm-up, so we'll see which of them it is. Right now, the 540. As I said, not entirely sure who exactly that is, but we'll find out when they come across the line. Tell you a little bit more about some of these drivers. We'll start with Laszlo Teglas, who's driving in GTD in the Mercedes. Hungarian driver who finished second in the 6 hours of Daytona. the 6 hours of Daytona earlier this year, but that was in LMP2. He's driving GTD, as I said, today and throughout this series, at least for now. And he also got third in the winter series just gone last winter. Bit of traffic out here at the moment for some of these guys. I think that's Jones going through there. Pole sitter, of course, Peter Jones. He's driving for 2012 Motorsport. And as I said earlier, participates in the TCC as well, the Touring Car Championship. But has never competed in the WC. Don't forget, if you're looking out for the WC here at IVRC, then you won't be able to find it. This is the replacement for it. At WC, lasting two seasons, 1.5 really. First one was taken by Jesus Chirinos in the... sorry, no, it wasn't. I'm thinking of his team. C-Force Racing took the team's championship. And it was... and this year, it was Mark Stwerker who took the title in the WC, 2020 WC, as we got a bit of a spin there for one of the Porsches. Unsure who that is, but yeah, not ideal for them. Here's Lorena Vicius. That his nephew is also driving in this series, and they're on the same team. They are both in a Porsche. You see a bit of a traffic jam going on down here. But this side of the Lorena Vicius family finished 4th in the Touring Car Championship in the second 2019 season, which is no mean feat, because that's quite a competitive championship, it has to be said. He's just coming up towards the final couple of corners now. We're going to take a quick bit of a break, and then in a few minutes' time, we will be back with the rest of warm-up, and then eventually 90 minutes here at Mosport. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few moments' time. Welcome back to the IVRC American Endurance Championship here from Canadian Tire Motorsport Park even. And yeah, we're here in warm-up with just 8 minutes to go now. Before the start of the race, 90 minutes around Mosport, of course. I'm wondering if I can turn this name over the people off, by the way. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I should be doing this either, but have I broken it? Possibly. No, I haven't. Excellent. We're just going to have to deal with the people, or the names over the people. We're on board with Lorena Vigius at the moment. We'll just change that a little bit around. Here's Jonathan Houlihan in the number 12 Porsche. Currently running 11th in this session, just in behind Lorena Vigius, we were just watching. Came 7th in the 2019 F3 World Cup. Yeah, took place last year at Macau. And don't be fooled by the graphic, by the way. Neto is indeed driving a DPI. He hasn't managed to get the GTD car around. Oh, that's big damage for somebody. Lopez, that will be. With fairly huge damage. And now Houlihan's got pretty big damage as well. That's going to be a bit of a problem. As he just drives through. There you go. That was actually Neto himself. Currently watching one of the Porsches running around at the moment. I'm currently watching somebody in the pits, which is not very exciting. There we go. Here's Lucas Murno instead. Currently come down into the final 3 corners in the Acura. Apologies for the long pauses, by the way. I'm trying to communicate at the same time as commentate, which is never helpful. But Murno's just come over the line now. By the way, the people on the left-hand side is just the ones who've set a lap time, so don't be alarmed that there's not that many people out there right now. There are indeed 18 or 19 of us, I think, now. In a maximum of 24 as Geelhold, maybe, off the road there. This is cool to see the Acura versus the Cadillac down here. DPI finally into sim racing. Introduced a few years ago, of course, into IMSA in real life, and no sim has really taken them on. Thankfully, we've got them now in Automobilista with the help of a mod. Of a few mods, indeed. Get these cars into the game. And what fantastic looking cars they are as well, running in tandem right now. Nose to tail between these two. Brzezinski versus Murno, probably practicing for how they're going to be in the race. Because they were very, very close in qualifying. Arima Salga's managed to pick up the pace a little bit here in warm-up, by the way. He's and there's Neto, by the way, in the Cadillac. Going to show you Alga, but he's not out there running. I'll show you Julian Gines instead. Or Gines, maybe. Don't know. He's Colombian. And came 5th in the Winter Series last year. So yeah, he's been here before. Oh, that was close. That's the kind of thing these guys are going to have to be worrying about. And there's all sorts of things going on there between Alfie Bevin and Carl Magnus Borre. 2 FRA Sim Racing LMP2 cars having a bit of fun there, I think, in the warm-up, since it doesn't matter actually that much. So 90 minutes. comes towards the back end of the straight and the back end of the lap as well. Into the final corner. And Jeans will see if he can get up towards Lopez maybe. Switch to somebody else for a little bit of time now. Currently down in 14th position. Douglas Ezeves, the Brazilian driver. A lot of South Americans, Brazilians, Argentine drivers in this series, by the way. And Alfie Bevan's car looks absolutely ruined. Not entirely sure what he's done to do that, but I think it was on purpose. There's the man on pole, though, Peter Jones, for the Mazda team. And now everyone's disappearing, so I'm presuming we might be going into the race, and we are. Here we go then. These guys just setting themselves up. 18 drivers, 9 prototypes, and 9 GTs. 5 DPIs, 4 LMP2s, 9 GT3s. Not sure where my graphics have gone, but they're not mine, and they've reappeared. So here they are. The guys will be setting themselves up. Somebody's fashioning their laps already. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of that throughout the race. There will be a lot of lapping at this short circuit. Jones, Murno, the first row. Brudzinski, Auger, second row. Neto, who was showing good pace in qualifying, is on the third row. He's not GTD, despite what the graphics say. He is DPI. And he's alongside Carl Magnus Borre, the first of the LMP2s, for real. Bit of a surprise to see Borre at the top, as we are underway now for the formation lap. Peter Jones going to lead them away in the Mazda Acura Cadillac first 3, and then it's Mazda Cadillac Oreca in 6th position. We've got some more Orecas down the order just a little bit. Here they come. Lopez, Bevan, Jeans, and then we've got BMW, Porsche, Mercedes, Lamborghini. First 4 in GTD. Then we've got some more Porsches in behind. A lot of Porsches in the in the GTD category. It's a slow formation lap for now, as the guys just attempt to get some tyre temperature, weaving around just a little bit. Be careful not to spin though. I'm sure these guys won't. They're very skillful, of course. So will it be Jones or Murno off the line? Murno, the 2019 Bathurst 200 winner, and has taken 2 race wins in the WEC, so he knows how to endurance race. Peter Jones, so far, only competed in the Touring Car Championship at IVRC, but that doesn't mean he's not an experienced and capable driver. Got Brudzinski, Gustavo Brudzinski, the Brazilian, up in behind him. Behind Jones, that is, and then we've got Orimus Auger, Lithuanian driver. In the very same race that Murno won, Auger finished 8th on that day. Has also competed in the Touring Car Championship last year, as the classes begin to separate themselves out. DPI, LMP2, GTD. For the very first time in sim racing history, we're going to get these 3 classes up together. Mazda, Acura and Cadillac coming out to play here on Automobilista for the IVRC American Endurance Series Peter Jones is going to lead them away with Lucas Murno beside him as they run into the final corner, and Murno straight off the road there. Good start from Jones as we have an hour and a half on the clock and we're counting down already. Jones leads. Brzezinski is into second place as Murno went off for the final corner there. Carl Magnus Borre has managed to get himself into fourth position in LMP2. Overall, that is, but he's in an LMP2 car. Neto is in fifth, with Lopez and Bevin battling in LMP2 for second in that class. Auger's had a pretty terrible start. He's in ninth position now. Sorry, eighth position, excuse me. Back in GTD, it's Sven Gilhold who's taken the lead in the BMW. In behind, got one of the Porsches for Peasley. And then it's Adrian in the Lamborghini who's had a good start. Head of Laszlo Petega, off the road for Lauren Avicius. Front bumper off already for the number 21 Porsche. Estevez is going to get through, and that is not good for him. As we come through lap number 1, it's Peter Jones from Murno who's up into second place. Brzezinski third, Neto fourth. Let's Lopez, Borre, Auger. And those guys battling pretty hard right now. Look at this. This is messy. Oh! Auger just gets through on Bevin. And Borre has lost the lead. Borre has lost the lead here. You can see them up in front now. Lopez versus Borre. This is the battle for first in LMP2. I'm currently watching from the front bumper of Orimus Auger. They're all wide for Lopez. Very close to contact between the three of them. But it's an FRA Sim Racing 2-3 right now. With Borre and Bevin. Down the back straight, the Mazda just passes them on the left-hand side. Oh, switching to the right, to the inside for Borre. Can't get it done though, as Lopez continues on in the lead. Sixth position over. Oh dear, it's very close between them. He's actually really fast through this final section. Is Lopez, and now Borre is going to get on the inside as Lopez gets on the grass and gets into the wall. Deary me, he's got his wheel dipped on the grass there, and he's got into the wall. Borre and Bevin run away with the lead for FRA. But no, they can't make contact. And Bevin's around and he's in the wall. Losing carbon fibre, the teammates have collided. Deary me. Alfie Bevin, not a good start for him. You can see right hand side is slightly bent in there, the bumper. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Lucas Murno has taken the lead while there's been drama in LMP2. Lopez off the road, rear wing off. And we've got Bevin, who's got a bent car as well now, because of his teammate, his FRA Sim Racing teammate. Deary me, there are going to be some tempers fraying down there in the Swedish team. The Murno leads from Peter Jones. Acura, Mazda, Cadillac, Mazda, your top five. And then we've got Orica in sixth with Carl Magnus Borre. Go back to GTD and see what's going on. It looks like Houlihan's had a bit of a problem and he's already in the pit lane. Teglis also had a spin. He's down his 16th right now. There's Pablo Lopez, by the way. Deary me. Rear wing off and he's in the wall again. In front of the race leaders, that is, no less. But they've all got through without incident. Oh, off the road for Godoy there in his Lamborghini. This is teammate Adrian still in front, and it's Peasley versus Gilhold for the lead. Gabriel Peasley of Brazil plays Sven Gilhold of the Netherlands. BMW versus Porsche at the front of GTD right now, but the traffic is going to be upon us very shortly. We'll cycle down the order to Felipe Murno, and here he is. He's about to lap Estevez. He's already got Teglis in the bag, but Teglis has had problems of his own. Murnau definitely got the pace right now. 2 seconds ahead of Peter Jones, who is just over a second ahead of Gustavo Brzezinski. And here's the traffic. Estevez just in front, right round the outside for Murnau. How does Peter Jones negotiate it? That's the question. Going to get held up a little bit in the final corner. He's just going to go right round the outside of him, as is Brzezinski. A good lappery from those guys, but more time has been lost to Peter Jones. As big crash accident for Godoy, who's actually done a million pirouettes and still facing the right way, which is quite remarkable. Just round the outside goes Jones. And how on earth has he managed to get away without damage is the question I've got for Godoy. More traffic. Kims, the Kenyan driver, gets out of the way. He's got to be careful though, he's on the inside line. He could overshoot. He has! And Brzezinski has hit him. And he's spun around as well. He's going to lose a position to Neto. Brzezinski, is he beached there? He may well be beached. He's going to have to roll backwards. Can he get going again? It doesn't look like he can. Auger's been promoted into 5th as Peter Jones negotiates some more traffic. Murnau still leads from Jones. Neto, Borre up to 4th position. Fantastic drive from him so far. As Murnau continually takes 5 to 8 tenths of a second out of Peter Jones. Here's Neto, trying to chase down the Mazda in front of him. That's what has happened to Brzezinski. He's got going again, has the Brazilian. But he's got to negotiate all this traffic again. He's negotiating Kims for the second time. This time, a lot more successfully. He lost 20 seconds on lap 6, as you can see there. He should be able to chase down Auger up in front of him, or Ines Auger, or Imus Auger, excuse me. And this is Julian Jeans just in behind. He's being chased down by Alfred Bevin, whose damage doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. We'll go on board with him. Down towards turn number 5 and 6. Just negotiating some more traffic. Time it's the Panasonic Racing Porsche. Panorama Racing, sorry, not Panasonic. They're in the GTD category. Oh, a moment there for Bevan. Meanwhile, in GTD, we've had a change for the lead. Heelhold has been overtaken. This is getting very close between Jones and Neto. Neto has overtaken Jones now. So Peachley's into 9th. Heelhold down to 10th. But up in the order, it's Jones versus Neto. It's also Borre versus Auger, which is a strange battle because these two are in different categories. But Carl Magnus Borre, the pole sitter in this race, has to relinquish 4th, down to 5th for him. For the 59 FRA Sim Racing LMP2 car, driven by the man who came 6th in the F3 World Cup last year. Meanwhile, it's Cadillac 1-2, sorry no it's not Cadillac 1-2, it's Acura 1, Cadillac 2, with Lucas Murnau leading. Neto 2nd right now. Peter Jones is 3rd. Bit of a slide there for Jones in the Mazda. He gets that, gets the power down. As meanwhile, Gilhold getting overtaken there by Auger, or getting lapped, should I say. Not with the most ease, it has to be said. That's Peachley just in front of him, and it's going to be a fantastic battle in GTD for the lead. I can be sure of that. Here's the battle for second, though. And these two just continue to lose time as Neto Gets on the grass. He doesn't spin out like Lopez did, but he does drop to third in the slightly strangely coloured car there. Not really sure what to call that, but it's a Cisco Air racing team car. That's what I do know. But not much else. So Jones is into second for Mazda. Neto down to third for Cadillac. They run now down towards the final 3 corners here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. 11 minutes gone in this race, and drama right the way through already. Here's Brzezinski, one of the compartments of that. Meanwhile in LMP2 we've got a bit of a battle going on here between Alfie Bevin and Julian Jeans. FRA Sim Racing trying to chase down SL Racing in the LMP2 category. Whereas in GTD, Gabriel Pichli, who leads. Ben Gilhold is in second and trying to chase him down. But they are a lap down now already. This is Adrian in 11th overall, 3rd in class. Just ahead of his teammate there, Godoy, who had that huge spin earlier on. Looks like he's had a decent lap. Here's Kims in his Porsche, just ahead of Teglas in the Mercedes, as Jones goes right round the outside of him. Already seen Kims involved in one accident today. That was with Brzezinski, who I mentioned a moment ago, and Neto in the wall. Third place man getting chased down by Orimus Alga and Carl Magnus Borre. The latter of which is not really supposed to be catching him up, but he is at the moment because of that spin as Kims goes wide, getting chased down by Teglas. That's about for 13th overall. And you've got Lopez, new clipped on rear wing. I'm presuming there wasn't much suspension damage there because that was a quick pit stop from the FRA. Sorry, not FRA. He doesn't belong to FRA. But that was a quick pit stop from his team. As this is Estevez down in 16th. Laurent Avicius, who had his front bumper off within minutes of the race beginning, or within seconds rather, and Houlihan, who's already had problems in this race, but it's Lucas Murno who leads. Peter Jones has got a little bit of breathing space now to Neto. Carl Magnus Borre 4th. Orimus Alga is in 5th. He's trying to stay on the road as well for Tempest, Team Tempest Racing. Oh, careful, passing Kims. A bit shaky there by everybody, but all of them getting through. Now then, Bevin is through on Jeans. So, black and white car here clearly had some problems in LMP2, and he has. I can see some slightly deranged bodywork on that car. He's on 16 seconds on this lap, which is a lot more than you expect, so he could well be into the pit stop, or into the pit lane at the end of this lap, but he's going to stay out for another time. Meanwhile, in GT, going inside the cockpit with Sven Gilhold trying to chase down the GTD leader, Gabriel Pichli. Gilhold very accomplished already in IVRC. Race of Champions winner, second in the 6 Hours of Daytona in this category. Also second in 2019 for the F3 World Cup, which is becoming a very prestigious race indeed. But for 13th going on at the moment between Kims and Peglas. Felix Kims, the Kenyan driver, driving for Porsche in this race. And Laszlo Teglis, Hungarian. And second in the 6 Hours of Daytona in LMP2. So maybe could have chosen a different category, but he seems to be doing fairly good in his Mercedes anyway. Number 5-4, he just goes a little bit wide there down at turn number 6. And now, that's Canada corner by the way, and he's going to really be under pressure from Laszlo Teglis. The Hungarian goes to the inside now. He's going to try and get his nose there, but the Porsche looks pretty strong in a straight line, it has to be said. It's on the outside, Kims prevails, so Felix Kims remains ahead of Laszlo Teglis just for now. They're going to get lapped here and overtaken indeed on the circuit by Lopez, but fantastic exit from Teglis, who tries to squeeze his car in to a very small gap indeed. He's going to try and get a smoother run through turn number 1 and does so. Tucks to the outside now for turn number 2. Has Kims realised he's there? He has. They give each other room. Oh! Big hit on the back of Kims and Lopez goes around. Lopez around as well. And he's got more bodywork damage. Be careful. Bevin hits him. Oh. Big drama once again. As Alfie Bevin suffers another bit of contact in this race. He may have to pit now that he's had 2 small hits with other cars. Meanwhile, Brzezinski was catching, but he's had just had an incident with Estevez. And now off the road also, Lorena Vicious. All sorts of things going on here. Completing lap 15 at the moment. This is the battle for 4th position, by the way. It's not a class battle, but it is a battle nevertheless. So Laszlo Teglis is able to get ahead of Felix Kims because of that incident involving Pablo Lopez. Lopez's second incident of the day. His first one, dipping the wheel onto the left-hand side in the grass, on the into turn number 1. Orimus Auger gets into 4th, but Lopez limping back to the pit lane. Having to be very, very careful there. And he was being quite careful, has to be said. So, this is Julien Jeans, Colombian driver, just passing the Kenyan driver Felix Kims. And this is the race leader in GTD. The Netto does seem to be actually catching Peter Jones ever so slightly in the last couple of moments. Gap's down to 7 seconds between the two of them as Lorena Vicious all the way down to 17th position, lost his front bumper and his rear wing now. Oh, as Netto tries to get through but has to brake on the straight. It's not ideal at all for him. Peachley now putting a lap on another GTD car. There's going to be a lot of laps put on cars today because of how short the lap is. Oh, that car looks beaten up, doesn't it? For Lorena Vicious. Yellow flag out on the circuit. Got to find where that is, and it's Estevez. Estevez with a spin. Getting back onto the road now. In the Porsche. Lopez off the road again. Oh dear, it's been a terrible race for Pablo Lopez. After showing such good pace in qualifying, it really has been dire from him in the race. If he continues on, he'll still pick up points for his class, but goodness me, not a good showing from him so far. Lorena Vicious. We're down to 17, by the way, as the Lithuanian is in the pit lane. And this is the race leader, Lucas Murno. Meanwhile, the closest battle on the circuit is actually not even a battle for position. Orimus Auger versus Carl Magnus Borre. There's a lot of carbon fibre to the left-hand side of turn number 7, by the way. Lots of incidents going on back there. So Jones is in the pit lane. First pit stop of the day. Is this scheduled? You'd have to say that probably not after only 20 minutes. So what has happened to Peter Jones? And where did it happen? He's not going to be overtaken by Alfie Bevan, I don't think, unless this pit stop is horrendously long, but not good for Peter Jones. He'll have to make another stop in this race. I reckon that the DPIs and the LMP2s might have to make 2 stops, though, in 90 minutes. 2 45-minute stints as we've got a yellow flag. Can't search for the stopped car, and it is Lorinivicius. There he is. Apologies for cycling through the cameras so quickly when that happens, though. I don't really have a way of selecting a single driver. Even if I did, I wouldn't know who actually went off. So yeah, apologies for that. Here's Brzezinski, who's really not been on top form ever since he had that spin and incident with Felix Kims. He lost about 20 seconds in that crash, which would still only leave him in 3rd. So, not the best of races from Gustavo so far. One man who I haven't seen make a mistake so far, though, Lucas Murno, leading, and that is why he's leading. Estevez just gets lapped there as well by Brzezinski and goes off the road in sympathy. There's the dark black Cadillac now tries to chase down, first of all, Carl Mangaspore, and then he can set his sights on Ori Masauga and try and get back on the podium again. He's got 11 seconds to do so. A little bit further down the order as Peter Jones is now out the pit lane, and he's come out right behind who he was trying to catch before he went in. Neto, the Brazilian driver there. Jones currently 7th, chasing down Alfie Bevan in the Mazda. Mazda doesn't sound very Mazda-like at the moment, I have to say. A little bit dark, a little bit deep in terms of tone to be a Mazda, but it's still so cool to have these cars in the game. Got a yellow flag. Who is it? That's the big question. Could be anyone at this point. But I don't see anyone with damage. It's a busy part of the racetrack though, isn't it? Kims, Teglis, battling again. We know what happened last time these two came together. Ended in tears for both of these, well, for Kims in particular, and also Pablo Lopez, who's down there in 16th overall. Teglis in the Mercedes right now. Clearly had some kind of problem because Kims is able to get back ahead of him, so not sure where that's happened or how, but it has at some point. Two seconds separate Auger and Borre, and Auger really starting to lose a bit of time, but this is an actual battle for position between Teglis and Kims. Two Lamborghinis, by the way, running in 11th and 12th. Not really mentioned Adrian at all, but obviously Godoy had that huge spin earlier on as Alfie Bevan pit lane for him. And he's not far from being overtaken by one of the GTD cars, so he needs to get out quickly enough, and he just do. Bit of a problem there on the disconnect, or on the connection. There's Peter Jones, made his way past machines. Now he's trying to chase down Brzezinski, who's trying to chase down in turn Carl Mangaspore. Bit more traffic to deal with here for the FRA Sim Racing LMP2. Sauber just in front of him. And 3 of the LMP2s actually running line astern on the circuit right now. With Brzezinski having to pick his way through all 3 of them. Gets Bevan on the straight, which is the easy part, but what comes next is not quite so easy. Oh, dives down the inside definitively of Adrian, who's probably quite scared of that and goes off the road. I would be anyway. That's why I'm sat here. I'm not driving myself. Boré is next on the list for, well, not on the road, that's Jeans, but Boré is full position at the moment overall. Get top 5 as the LMP2 is pretty impressive indeed. But Brzezinski using all the road right now, driving well. Just a shame to see that he's had those incidents a little bit earlier on in this race. Now Boré extremely close to Auger. That's the wrong way. Yeah, they are getting quite close. Well, they were. The LMP2s and the DPIs really aren't that dissimilar in their downforce and their cornering ability. So the LMP2s really are able to close up to the back very, very quickly indeed. That's what's happening right now. Oh, big incidents going on, and it looks like a round for Auger. He's managed to save it, but Larinovic is... Oh, big accident! Huge accident! Goodness me, Kim's up and into the air. Everybody going extremely slowly to avoid everything. Goodness gracious. Kim's sent flipping. Jeans was also involved, as was Auger. And here comes the race leader. Nearly a 45-second lead for Lucas Murno now. That was a humongous accident. Goodness me. There's going to be some pit stops after that, I can tell you that for free. Somehow, Carl Magnus Boré avoided it all. I have no idea how, but he managed it. Here's Felix Kims with no front bumper. But he carries on here, does Kims. I wonder if he knows. I'm sure he does, but it's something you've got to consider, really. Sorry for this, but jumping up and down the order. Brzezinski's up into 3rd then. And Carl Magnus Boré continues on in 4th position. Remus Auger pits for damage, as does one of the Lamborghinis, ETD Lamborghinis, and Julien Jeans also in there. So that's going to give Bevan another position. Now battle for the GT honours. It's on between Peachley and Gilhode. Up the road, that's Godoy off the road ever so slightly. He is in 15th overall right now. Gilhode really trying hard right now. Try and catch up with the man in his sights up in front of him. Well, he tried to go around the outside there, did Gilhode of Godoy, but he can't do it. Blue flags will be waving, and he's got a DPI behind him as well as Brzezinski goes for the pit lane. He goes for the wall. That was an aggressive pit entry, but he managed to get into it. So Boré's promoted onto the virtual podium. well, can't quite believe that. So then, Ewan negotiates Godoy, and Borre negotiates Peachley to put a lap on both of those guys. Oh, Sheens looks a little bit ragged still. Now, Bevin is actually not able to get through on Auger. He's been passed by Peter Jones now, who is very close indeed to passing Brzezinski. Here they come, out the pit lane. On board with Jones, he's going to have those two cars in front of him, but then he's going to be on the back of Gustavo Brzezinski. Off the inside for Jones, that was good, cutting through the traffic. Going to go to the outside of Adrian, that was beautiful traffic management from the British driver. Bit of a touring car driver as well, but driving the prototypes very well indeed today. Up the hill, 5th and 6th position, 5th and 6th corner, Canada corner, leading onto the long back straight, which is not really very straight, but it is all flat out all the way. And this corner at the end is extremely fast, scarily fast in fact. We'll enjoy it on board right here with the Mazda. A bit wide for Brzezinski up in front, as you can see. Hooks it in for the penultimate one and the final one though. Out of the way gets Estevez. He's 15th overall right now. Doesn't need to do that, of course. The GTs have their right to be there, but he's decided that it's probably safer to get out of the way. Laszlo Teglis has managed to get himself onto the podium. Ooh, a bit wide from Jones, but he's fine. The Teglis is onto the podium. He was in a battle with Kims not too long ago, but now he's up into the podium positions, which is quite remarkable. That's a great good drive from him so far. Over half an hour gone in this race now, and so much drama crammed into the first half of this race, or the first third of this race. Pit stops will be happening soon. The pit stop window for the GTD cars is open. It will indeed be open for the whole of the next half an hour. They can do an hour on their fuel tanks, because they're basically GT3 cars, in case you didn't know. GTD standing for Grand Touring Daytona, of course. Or just GT Daytona. But, yeah. LMP2 and DPI, ever so slightly separate. Currently watching Jones versus Brzezinski, but this is Bevin and Auger, I think, battling pretty hard over what is going to be 6th position. Bit of a dive there from Auger, and Kim's trying to get out of the way of everybody. They come over the line. Obviously these two not battling for a class position, but Auger is up into 6th position overall. So, it's Acura, Cadillac, Oreca, Cadillac, Mazda, Mazda. A couple of Orecas. Then we've got Porsche, followed by BMW. However, Peachley is going to have to negotiate Kim's. Oh, close. Who's going to have to do the same. Got a yellow flag now. And it's one of the prototypes in the wall. I think it might be Auger. It is. Orimus Auger spins into the wall at turn number 3. Gets back onto the road. Ahead of Alfie Bevin. Or does he? Yes, he does. Miles ahead, actually. So no need to worry about that one, but let's start worrying about this battle. Because it's Peter Jones versus Brzezinski. That's the camera I was looking for. And here it is. Brazil versus Britain. Sounds like a World Cup quarter-final, but it's not. Look at the way that Mazda cuts through the air, through the corners. That's Lopez getting out everyone's way. He's into 13th overall, by the way, right now. Recovering after that spin early on, where he dipped 2 wheels onto the grass on the left-hand side of the road into turn number 1. And he lost a rear wing. Got a new one clipped on, of course, but he's a long way down now. Brzezinski versus Jones, though. Oh, that's not. None of these are what we want. Here we go. Much better. On board with Jones. Just gets a bit of a slide out the exit of Canada corner there. As I believe, Carmangus Borre has been into the pit lane, or been off the road, one of the two. He's now down in 5th as Neto comes in, so Lucas Murno now leads by a whole lap, and he's still setting fastest lap times. Lots of traffic in front of these two. Brzezinski and Jones have got the GTD leaders in front of them right now. Here we come, turn 1. Where's Brzezinski gonna go? To the inside. Through turn number 1. Gets that move done. Sorry, turn number 2, that is. Over the crest of the hill. Oh, Jones off the road, slightly trying to get that pass done. More traffic. Couple of Porsches now for Jones. He dives down another one. Estevez down into Canada corner. Estevez just gets out of the way of everybody. But look at that in GTD. Estevez is letting everybody through right now. Oh, Auger. Auger's out the race, I think. As is one of the Lamborghinis. But now in GTD, it is all on. We'll check which of the which of the Lamborghinis that is. But I believe... Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't like to say, actually. Have to wait and see on that one. One of them is Adrian. And they've just passed Auger there after the two GTD leaders, but that doesn't really reveal too much to us. Will be inside for Carmangus Borre. Gets that done. Wide for Peachley. Now here comes Gilhold to the outside. Through turn number 3. Can't quite get that done. He's going to try and get the run on the Porsche though. The Porsche has good traction, but not quite as good as the BMWs on that occasion. To the outside goes the Dutchman, but he can't quite do it there. Does he go for it? The Canada corner. No. There's Auger. He's out the race. Teklas now into 3rd position overall. Sorry, 3rd position in GT Daytona. Adrian is still in the race. However, I'm afraid to say that Godoy is out of it. Houlihan also out, and Lorena Vicius is running out of front bumpers, I'm afraid. He keeps going, fortunately. But let's get back to this lead battle, shall we? Look at this. Absolutely fantastic. 40 minutes into the race. Peachley versus Gilhold. Porsche a little bit wide onto the grass. Oh, massively onto the grass. Is he going to have to defend it? It's turn number 1. He does. Gilhold goes to the outside. Gets the run. Does he go for it? Turn number 2? Not quite. Peachley covers the line once again. Now he gets the run. It's turn number 3. He did this last lap, but he's a bit further up this time and he brakes later. Now he's able to cut back for the late apex and try and get the run into turn number 4. A flat out, downhill, blind, left-hander. Oh, it's so close between the two of them. Down the inside for Gilhold, and there's Brzezinski on the track, and they go either side of him. The GT Daytona car splitting a Daytona prototype. I never thought I'd see the day, but goodness me, fantastic driving from the two of them. And Gilhold is now through. Looks like that Porsche is pretty slippery in a straight line though. Peachley goes to the outside. Where's Munro going to go? Oh, he's going to go on the grass. The race leader on the grass trying to pass 2 battling GTD cars. Oh, bump and run. For Peachley gets to the outside for the penultimate corner. Is either of them going to pit as the race leader is in? Down the inside of the final corner, be careful. We don't want to see another incident between any of these guys. Lopez trying to come here and unlap himself as an LMP2 car, but Gilhold, after 40 minutes of trying, is finally into the lead. Peachley needs to be careful of Lopez. Oh, that's not what we want. There we go, that's much better. That's, oh, into the side of Gilhood. And now Peachley has an opportunity. Or he nearly did anyway. Lopez needs to be careful battling these, or passing these two, because they are in a fight. He doesn't want to take either of them off. Go back on board with the Porsche and listen to that flat 6 engine, or flat 4 engine as it will be in the GTD. Still a fantastic sound. Gilhood leads GTD. Peter Jones now in the garage. Peter Jones could be out of this race, and I believe he might be. Jones out. And I think we're down to 3 DPI cars, or 4 DPI cars, sorry. No, we are down to 3. Carl Magnus Borre has got a real shout of a podium here. This is your race leader, by the way, as we're approaching half distance. Lucas Murno in the Acura. The only Acura in the field here today. Destroying the field right now. This is his chaser adversary. 1 minute behind him. Neto. Carl Magnus Borre a further few seconds down in the lead of LMP2. And Brzezinski, who's just come out the pit lane, is 4th. He's going to be chasing down Borre to try and get that podium. And then Bevin is nearly a lap behind Borre. And Jeans has just been put a lap down by the Swede. Peter Jones, the Brit, out of the race now. As Estevez comes into the pit lane. But Peachley versus Gilhood continues. Oh, it's 3 wide. Brzezinski. Fantastic lappery manoeuvre there. As the Rinavicius struggling to keep it on the road there. Here goes Peachley. Is he going to go for this? He needs to. It's a lap car, of course. As the Lithuanian just goes a little bit wide and takes a bit of a strange line through the final corner. So the Brazilian Peachley into 8th position overall, and he's now just ahead of Rinavicius. This is the battle for 7th overall. This battle has been absolutely absorbing between these two. Go down the field though. Peter Jones obviously out of the race now. Hegler's being chased down here by Adrian. And Pablo Lopez trying to get himself back towards his LMP2 friends. Felix Kim's pretty safe from Rinavicius, who's just passed Estevez there for 14th. And then out of the race we have Orimus Auger, Godoy and Houlihan. They were from 18, we're now down to 14. It's Peter Jones. Pole sitter in this race, also out. Carl Magnus Borre now on a podium in LMP2. Fantastic drive from him. Gustavo Brzezinski very wide there. The Brazilian driver in 4th overall. Now we go back to the battle of the race. Just look at these two. Gilhood, Peachley, probably going to be our main focus for the remaining 46 minutes. These two continue to battle on. Down to turn number 6. Oh, he thought about a move there. Did Peachley. But he backed out of it. This is a fantastic drive from the Bravo Racing Team driver, by the way. Gilhood is no slow driver at all. To be keeping pace with him is very impressive indeed. Final 3 quarters for these two GT3 cars. Who's going to go in? Nobody just yet. Neither of them are pitted for now. And they'll have about 15 minutes before they run out of fuel, you'd imagine. Going to be one-stop races for the whole of this season, apart from the 6 hours at Daytona. Because you can make 90 minutes on one stop, and you can make 2 hours on one stop as well, because these cars go just over 1 hour on a tank of fuel. And when you're in traffic, even though you're on the throttle for quite a long time here at Mosport, you can save a bit of fuel as Peachley just sticks the nose down the inside and Neto doesn't know where to go. In the end, picks the left-hand side as Guilho just gives him that little bit of real estate. Peachley now trying to search for other lines, and he gets a good exit off turns number 6. He's in the slipstream. Can he make this stick? The Porsche seems pretty good in a straight line. And he's showing it right now. Which way is he going to go? He goes to the outside. Can he get all the way around the outside here at turn number 7? He can. Oh, he's on the grass though. He needs to be careful. He's into the wall. Gabriel Peachley is on his side. And that is a huge shame for him. He's rejoined the circuit just in front of the race leader there. And he will be into the pit lane at the end of this lap. You can be sure of that. He has got suspension damage in that car, I'm afraid. That breaks up our lead battle. Drake stops in his box. Oh dear, oh dear. Big moment. But it gives Guilho the lead in GT Daytona. So, where's the next battle going to come from? Well, I think it's not going to be one in well, that's not going to be a battle at all, is it? But what I think is going to happen in the next few moments is this man is going to pass Neto and put everyone a lap down. And the Acura in the field today is, as I said, Adrian just in front of him. He's 11th overall right now. 4th in class. As Pablo Lopez just unlaps himself and gets back through on Laszlo Teglas. Though he is making up positions in the overall standing, but it's not going to give him any extra points in terms of his class. Kind of surprising to see Murnau do so well in the race here compared to what he was in qualifying, but he is no slouch. He won 2 races last year in the WEC. He knows how to endurance race, that is for sure. Here's Neto in a bit of traffic right now, behind Pablo Lopez. He's going to be trying to get through on Peachley, who was in the pit lane a moment ago. And Lopez just lets him through. Peachley is out the pit lane, by the way. As Brzezinski chases down Carl Magnus Borre. So we cycle back to Peachley now as Bevin lets his teammate through. Oh dear. There we go. Yeah. There's Guilho just in front, and Peachley is just in front of Guilho. So Guilho has nearly lapped everybody now. Is off the road there. Bevin trying to lap the Dutch driver. So everybody goes around the outside of Gabriel Peachley, it looks like. Oh, close. Here it is. 41 minutes to go, near enough. These two are battling again, but it's not in the way they were expecting. A few minutes ago we would not have been able to say this, but Sven Guilho looks like he's just about to put Gabriel Peachley a lap down. And here it is. Pull to the right hand side, and it's going to happen. Peachley in this very position a few laps ago. Tried to hang it around the outside at turn number 7. Never the smartest. Got his wheel caught in the grass. Just in behind, on the left-hand side. Obviously cars don't steer very well on the grass. And so he went straight on into the wall. Both going to pass Adrian by the looks of things here in a moment. obviously his teammate for Adrian is now out of the race. Godoy. Not the best race for CGB Esports. One of only 2 teams driving the Lamborghini this season. Other one, Shadow Swingle Racing with Christian Alvarez and Gabriel Solomon. Not here in this lobby though. Oh, off the road there for Estevez. That's Douglas Estevez. For those wondering at home, HPR motorsport driver for Porsche with the number 540. Now, check on Peter Jones here, and he is out. So Jones for 2012 motorsport out of the race. That's 4 retirements now. Go on board with the race leader for a little bit here. It's got a yellow flag. Oh, that looks like Jeans in LMP2, and it is. Rear wing off for the 3rd place LMP2 car. And he's going to be in the pit lane. Oh, steady on. Bit of a narrow pit lane, as you can see. That car looks absolutely mangled. Dear me. It's not been the best of races for some of these guys. Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, known for taking lumps out of cars. Taken a few lumps out of these guys here today. I can assure you of that one. The lappery is about to take place between Lucas Murno and Neto. Irinavicius currently in the second to last position at the moment, as Gilhode just manages to get in front of Jeans on the road now. Well, it wasn't a pass on the circuit, you understand, but it was he was able to get through as Murno crosses the line again. Expecting somewhere in the region of 78 laps here today, with just a 1:03 lap time, and Murno still churning those out for breakfast. One more pit stop required for Murno today, I think. But I could be wrong. Very possible. In the Acura, doesn't seem to be changing down into first as some others do. Trying to pass Neto, who is in the Cadillac right now. Let's see if Jeans has got out of the pit lane again, and he has. His front bumper doesn't seem to be there, but he seems to be driving as if it is, so we're going to presume it is. Car always seems to be tilting a little bit backwards, a little bit back heavy, just like LMP2. Not entirely sure why. Could be a bit of a connection thing. He clearly has got a front bumper on that thing, because he wouldn't be doing that kind of pace if he didn't. Lopez trying to unlap himself right now. He's trying to get up into 8th overall right now, ahead of Peachley. Currently coming out of turn number 6 and down the back straight. Now has Peachley, and now actually he's losing time to Gilhode still. So FRA doing extremely well here today. 1-2 in LMP2, first position in GT Daytona. About to put a second, maybe third lap even on Laszlo Teglos up in front of him there. The Mercedes, as they're both passed by Neto. And they're both going to be passed by the race leader, Lucas Murno, very shortly. Here they come. Through turn number 3. A little bit unsure there, but yeah, that is turn number 3. Now down the hill at turn number 4. Nose to tail between these two, but Laszlo Teglis gets out of the way. Gilhood knocking on the door of a top 5 overall, which would be quite remarkable. Jeans and Lopez battle, and that is not one for position. It's an unlapping there being executed by Pablo Lopez. Strange bit of lighting going on because of that. What's going on there with Jeans and Lopez. Lopez may be able to close in that lap's margin. He's going to need about 2 seconds a lap though. But maybe not in reality. Pishley's been in again here. Oh, he's hit the wall on the exit. Pishley has been in for a second stop, or maybe even a stop go or drive through. But he's down to 10th overall, second in class. He's now got to chase down Laszlo Teglis, who's had a great recovery drive in the Mercedes. It's such a dramatic race so far. So much going on. We currently watch on board with the Brazilian heading down towards 7, 8 and 9. Ever since that mistake, really, Pishley just seems to be a little bit rattled, not quite driving as he was. Oh, a bit strange looking towards the final corner. Wonder if there is indeed Adriani behind him, and it is. So this is interesting. Second, third and fourth covered by not very much distance at all. Go on board and hear that Lamborghini just for a moment there. As now we watch as Carmagnus Boré tries to get through. Adrian lets him. Now in that kind of in that battle, where is Gustavo Brzezinski? Because he is supposed to be catching the Swede now, and I'd imagine he is doing so, but how quickly? Have you seen him in the background? Oh, not in that shot. Oh, very close between Pishley and maybe he was in the background of that shot. I think there was a Cadillac just going towards 5 and 6 then. Teglis, final corner for him. He's about to get lapped by the LMP2, which is mightily quick through that final sector. At parts, with a good driver, actually faster than the DPIs. Wide for Teglis, very wide. Nearly got into the wall there. He'll be thankful there's some tarmac, because otherwise that could be a big problem for him, or it could have been. Now we get a proper chance to hear this engine. Same one that can be found in the Audi, of course, not found in this series though. Only seeing the BMW, Porsche, Lamborghini, and also one of the other ones, Mercedes. That was it. Mercedes currently running around in second place. Nope, no. There's Brzezinski, who's just in behind. Oh dear, bit of a miscommunication between the two of them. Brzezinski really not very far behind these two, or these three cars at all. Gonna check on the battle between Jeans and Lopez there, but looks like, is that Gilhood maybe? Could be. Brzezinski goes through. And Pishley is chasing down Laszlo Teglis in the final half an hour of this race. the right-hander there. Jeans, and there, is that Lopez in the background maybe? No, it can't be. Actually. So Pishley is definitely catching Teglis here. You can see the gap is visibly smaller between those two right now. And more prototypes approaching in the background. They're going to try and get through with relative ease. So then, this is Jeans trying to get through on Lopez. Sorry, he's trying to get through on Peachley. And then Teglis is going to have to be negotiated. Jeans goes to the outside and he gets that move done, but the Hungarian loses some time. A little bit of a slide as well. Not completely planted at the moment. He was second in the Daytona 6 hours just a few months ago, but now he's got Gabriel Pishley behind him, who's shown fantastic pace all race, trying to regain the second position that he will believe is rightfully his. We've got BMW, Mercedes, Porsche, Lamborghini, the top four in GT Daytona right now, and we've got the race leader coming through this battle. Down the inside he goes. Oh, I'm trying to follow him through. Pishley down the inside at turn number 7, and he looks like he's got that done. Fantastic opportunistic driving from Gabriel Pishley, who is up into 9th place overall, 2nd place in class. But I think without the issues, or considering the issues he had earlier on in this race, Laszlo Teglis will be pretty pleased to be in 10th position overall and 3rd on the podium in his class. Kims isn't even that far behind Adrian, though there may be laps between them. And then these gaps are definitely not quite as small as the gaps on the road are making them out to be. So it's Borre and Brzezinski seem to be quite a close battle. May develop as Murnau now leads by a whole lap. Currently running on board with him. We'll take a lap on board here. Got a little bit of time to soak this one in. On board with your race leader, Lucas Murnau. Leading by a whole lap. Don't be fooled, by the way, Neto is not in the GTD category. He is a DPI car as well. Makes it Acura, Cadillac 1 and 2. And then we've got Orica P3. Podium currently for him. And then Sven Gilhard leading GT Daytona in 7th overall. Out of turn number 6. For Lucas Murnau, with just under 26 minutes to go in this, the first round of the American Endurance Championship, powered by IVRC.eu. It's the race, 90 minutes here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, otherwise known as Mosport. And yeah, had a fantastic race as Neto, final pit stop for the 2nd place man. He could be even 2 laps down on the leader by the end of this. There's Pishley just going through your shot right now onto the front straight, and Laszlo Teglis in 3rd in his class, and then being chased down by Adrian. That is your battle for 2nd in GT Daytona. This is another battle to watch, by the way. Battle for the podium. Although it's not one involved in the classes, Gustavo Brzezinski is trying to get his podium back. Third in the DPI category, the last of the DPI cars that are actually running here. Qualified extremely closely, but just ahead of Lucas Murno in the qualifying session, just behind Peter Jones, who's unfortunately out of this race for Mazda. Felix Kim's just being lapped there for Panorama Racing. Oh, wide for Brzezinski, but he's still catching Borre, as you would be expecting. As it looks like, actually, that Brzezinski is still a lap behind Borre, because he's just moved into second place overall. So Brzezinski's still got a lap to catch up to Carl Magnus Borre. Apologies for missing that one. So Neto, this is going to be a pass for position here, I think. Here they come, flying into the final sector, as you would in a prototype. High downforce, really making it quite phenomenal to admire these cars at work. Turn number 2. Difficult corner, can't see it for most of it until you're there, which is not much use at all. You just got to guess. Neto right in behind Carl Magnus Borre, and you have to say that the positions are going to change on this lap, but look who it is in the background. Lucas Murno, Bathurst 200 winner, right in behind him, or in the background of the shots at least. Going to try and get onto the back of the Swede, and with the extra straight line speed, a little bit more power in these DPI cars. That's the main difference between them. And Neto back up to second position. Look at these prototypes. The LMP2s have got similar downforce and grip levels as the Daytona Prototype Internationals. However, they've not quite got the power, and they've not really been able to match the DPIs ever since they were unleashed a season or two ago in IMSA. Coming out turn 3, there's Lucas Murno, calling him all kinds of things tonight. But one thing you have to call him really is just brilliant. He's about to put his second lap on Neto. Here they come, on the back straight now. And he pulls to the left hand side, driver's left. He takes another lap away from Neto. As meanwhile, just in front, that's Pablo Lopez. He's trying to chase down Sven Gilholt for a position. Very busy part of the racetrack actually, with Adrian just in front of these guys. Oh, a little bit close between them. Oh, very close between all of these guys. Look at this. Deary me. Adrian really trying to catch up to those in front. It's really quite a busy part of the circuit at that point there. Now, where's Teglas? Here he is. This is who Adrian is chasing down. And Peachley's is going to be a little bit further on than that. So, interesting battle between those guys. So there's Brzezinski. He's got about a minute to catch up with Borre in 20 minutes. It's going to be a tall order. So Gilholt just in turn number 3 right now, and Lopez is in turn number 7, so I can't see that position changing either. Oh, Adrian, second. Sorry, 10th. Yeah, second in third, excuse me, in UTD. Now, what has happened here to Teglas? And how come Adrian is ahead of him? Unless Teglas has stopped without me seeing. Been on board with the Mercedes just yet in this race, or not for long enough, but anyway. soon as I do that, it goes a bit wide. Here in LMP2 in the background. Trying to get down the inside of him. He's going to not want to repeat his mistakes of earlier. As Lopez just passes him. Under 20 minutes to go here at Mosport then. A circuit that's hosted IMSA or the American Le Mans Series every single year since 1999. An extremely long reign. 21 years in a row. It might come to an end this year, I'm afraid. But I think we can forgive it for that. It's a fantastic circuit. And yeah, it's a real flowing one. Drivers like it because of how flowing it is. I believe Brzezinski is in again, and he is. Getting the service. And he'll be on his way. Looks like Carl Magnus Borre of FRA Sim Racing going to get an overall podium here in the American Endurance Championship. That would be remarkable. Best result in a championship here at IVRC has been 6th position, and that was only a single race championship, the F3 World Cup last year. Finished 7th in the Bathurst 200 last year as well, but often around the top 5, but getting a podium for the first time if things go his way. Alfie Bevin also never managed a podium, but he's going to manage one in his class here today with a 5th place overall and a 2nd place in class. FRA 1-2 in LMP2. This is the BMW of Sven Gilhold, also driving for FRA, and he's supposed to be partnering Joe Gustitis, the American driver who finished 2nd in the 6 Hours of Daytona this year, partnering Gilhold in that effort in GTD. So Gilhold done very well in IVRC so far, winning the Race of Champions earlier this year. He's about to add an AEC race win as well, albeit in his class. He'll still celebrate it like he's won the overall. Long way to go in this championship, of course, though. 10 rounds spanning across 2 whole calendar years. We've got, in a couple of weeks' time, Road America for 90 minutes. Don't forget that one. Then Laguna Seca, also 90 minutes, and then the first of the endurance races at Road Atlanta. Petit Le Mans, I guess you could call it. That's 2 hours. For a single driver, that is a bit of an endurance, it has to be said. Real endurance comes 3 rounds later, though, after 90-minute races at Long Beach and Mid-Ohio. Daytona will be visited for 6 hours of racing. Round number 7, that's going to be a defining moment in the championship for sure. And it will set the real order, the real pecking order, for the final 3 rounds. Sebring, which is another 2-hour race, always follows Daytona, and then Belle Isle for round number 9. That's going to be a sprint race, 90 minutes, and it's going to be a bash and a crash as well, I'd imagine, because that is a tight and twisty circuit to have all 3 classes on. That's going to be very difficult. And then the final race at Watkins Glen, 2 hours to decide the title. One man who's put a pretty good marker down today, Lucas Murno. In the Acura, he's got 15 minutes to bring it home. And he might be about to take the race win. Who knows? He's taken 2 overall wins in the WEC, which has formed the AEC, in case you're wondering. We've replaced the W with the A, and we've replaced the WEC with the AEC. American Endurance Series immediately violating it by going to Canada. Can't blame them. What a circuit this is. And it's been a fantastic one for Lucas Murno. On lap 70 at the moment. Going to be edging up towards the 80s in terms of the laps. It's going to be a great start here for Project B. He is their only driver, Lucas Murno, a sole driver in this season. He's the only singular driver who's going to take a win here today. Boré and Gilhard are both part of a team. They're both part of the same team indeed. Obviously not scoring points towards the same account, but both under the FRA Sim Racing banner. Peachley also part of a team. He's partnering Jonathan Houlihan, the Portuguese driver who retired earlier on in the race. Finished 7th in the F3 World Cup last year. Unfortunately not able to get to the flag here today. 14 were able to get to it though. The last of them was Estevez, or is Estevez at the moment. Try to chase down Felix Kims. Go back to Adrian Teglis and those guys. I believe this. Surely this can't be a battle between these two, can it? It could be. Two Porsches running line astern. Kims and Marina Vicius. A bit wide for Panorama Racing Car. Actually being told to pit right now. You won't want to with only 12.5 minutes to go. You'd have to say that anyone pitting at this stage has had a bit of a fuel miscalculation as the LMP2 runner-up or second placed runner gets through. Alfie Bevan on a defensive line there for Kims. As Brzezinski gets through and he tries to take his opportunity, he does. Kims. No front bumper for Marina Vicius, but he's been off the road so many times, I wouldn't be surprised if they've run out. With all due respect, it's not been his race just yet. That was the race leader, by the way, just chopping his way through. This may be a battle between these two, but hard to tell. As you can see, the on the left-hand side doesn't tell us the intervals. I think when cars get lapped, it does get a little bit confusing, and it does, to be fair. Teglis apparently is a lap behind Adrian. I'm finding it difficult to believe, but Gabriel Pichli is definitely running away from both of these guys. I think we can both safely say that. Getting on board with Lopez here, because he might be about to take 7th away from Sven Gilhard. I think he's trying to use his brakes as little as possible through there by just coasting a little bit. Through turn number 1 in the red Motul car. Just over 10 minutes to go in this race. 90 minutes here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. The only venture into Canada, of course, in both the IMSA series and this series as well, the American Endurance Championship. Now the only Endurance Championship in this in IVRC. Down the back straight again for Lopez. Just in front of him on the position tower, Julian Jeans, SL Racing driver, who won the 6 Hours of Daytona as a team. Not sure quite which drivers were involved in that one, but certainly takes a team effort to get those guys over the line to win it. Seeing if Gilhode is going to actually relinquish 7th here. Lopez, do you remember earlier on? The very first 10 minutes, dipped a wheel onto the grass on the left-hand side and went into a big spin. Rear wing was off. He was into the pit lane. And he needed the repairs. That's why he's still recovering. But if he can get past Gilhode, then it would make things on the positional tower look a little bit better. Because the LMP2s will be in mostly a line. Obviously, Brzezinski is out of position there as well. Behind Carl Magnus Borre, who has had a flawless race. Has the Swedish driver. Brzezinski not quite had a flawless race, it has to be said. That incident with Felix Kims down here, turn number 5 and 6. Looking more after. Oh dear, there could be a problem here. It is Felix Kims himself off the road with no body parts remaining, and he needs to be careful going forwards and backwards on the straight like that. Peachley is in again here, and Adrian could be about to take his second away. Second position could be his, and it's going to be. There it is. Adrian moves into second as Peachley is in again. Kims has got going again finally, thankfully, but he's down in 13th now. Lopez versus Gilhode. This is technically a battle for position, but it's not going to be much of a battle. As Lopez is just trying to get through on the GT Daytona leader and surely winner. Leads by about a lap and a half, maybe even 2 laps, to his nearest rival, who is now Adrian. Through goes Lopez then, and he's only unlapped himself. Oh no, he hasn't. He's up into 7th. There you go. So Lopez moves up into upper place. Into 7th with 6 minutes to go. Gilhode down to 8th. And Peachley is back out there. He's got a whole straight to make up on Adrian in just 1 lap. Sorry, in just 6 minutes. Felix Kims has entered the pit lane then, and he's going to need some new bodywork after putting his car through the ringer. Is Estevez going to lift himself up off the final position on this order? No, he's not. He's staying in behind as Kims does actually lose that position, so that is a fight for the wooden spoon between these two, Estevez and Kims. Peachley tries to make his way through. Oh, off very wide for all involved. This could be a battle then between these two. The 13th position overall. And 9th position. Sorry, not 9th. Maybe about 7th. Actually. Oh, bit of a bump there from Kims on the back of Estevez. Just depends where the leader is in terms of how many laps these guys have left, but it's Not many, that's for sure. Murno looks like he's going to take the race win by 1 or 2 laps here. As Murno just crosses the line now, I believe, so he's got quite a distance. So, yeah, about 4 maybe laps to go for Murno, and so also for these guys, Kims and Estevez, but Kims goes wide and it looks like Estevez might just have the place for good now. Douglas Estevez, currently 13th. Trying to get away from Felix Kims, Kenyan driver for Panorama Racing. Traffic could play its role in this battle, but doesn't look like those positions are going to change. Doesn't look like Peasley's going to get through on Adrian in the end, and Gearhode looks like he's going to take the race win by over a lap in GT Daytona. Speaking of taking victories by over a lap, take a look at this man, Carl Magnus Borre. No top 5s at all for this man coming into this race in IVRC. Looks like he's about to take the race win though. That'll be absolutely brilliant for him. See if he can hold on. Just passed by Neto. Goes it, sorry, Lucas Murno. Final 2 or 3 laps. Looks like it might be 3 for this man. A well-deserved victory, has to be said, if it can indeed come to him. He might slow down just enough and not have to do the extra lap. Got Alfie Bevan just in front of him. British driver, 4th in the Race of Champions earlier this year, showing that he is one of the top level drivers. Very close, fast closing speed there, and I think Murno was going for the fastest lap. But he's not anymore, because Bevan's just got in his way a little bit. He's actually 16 thousandths up on his best lap time throughout the whole race on that lap there. But he wasn't able to improve, and now he's 5 temps down, so he might have another go now. So then, a minute and a bit to go. A minute and 15, but with a 1 minute, with a 1 lap lead, he could definitely slow down. So this could be the final lap. This could be the second last lap. Not sure which, but when you're leading, you just want as many laps as possible. When you've got this comfortable of a lead anyway. Just want to drink it in as to why that could have been big drama. But there was no drama. There hasn't been any drama for this man. There's been stacks of it everywhere else. Almost too much to remember. Starting on the very first lap and ending probably on the very last lap. So all kinds of positional change and battles and crashes as well going on. Maybe Road America, with a little bit more space to work with, will give these guys a little bit of respite in terms of the accidents, but give them no respites in terms of the pace. He's still pushing out this margin. Lap 82 for this man, Joseph and Lucas Murno. Final lap for the Brazilian driver. Turn number 2 for the final time, as time now elapses. But the race is not over until Murno gets back to the line to take his 4th win in IVRC. And his first AEC win, because it's the first AEC race, and this is the battle for 13th position just in front of them, I believe. Oh, and off the road! A spin for Felix Kims. So Estevez is going to hold on to 13th position after that battle. But one man who hasn't had to battle anybody throughout this race is Lucas Murno. Final couple of corners for him. He's won at Bathurst. He's won in the WEC. And now he wins in the AEC. Lucas Murno takes victory here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park after 84 laps. A completely dominant display from the Brazilian driver at Project B. He's not slowing down. That's because there's another lap, apparently. So there you go. Just a victory lap at this point. Because surely this isn't the fastest cooldown lap you've ever seen. Although it might be. This will be the final time then. On the 84th attempt. He's just enjoying these moments right now. You can be guaranteed of that one. He's just enjoying this. Drinking it in as much as possible. And now, through the final corner, Lucas Murno does take the race win here in the American Endurance Championship Round 1 at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. What a fantastic race it has been from him. Here is going to be the race winner in GT Daytona. On the back straight now, coming into the final couple of corners. For the final time. And Sven Gierhold, the Dutch driver for FRA, after winning in the Race of Champions, looks like he's going to win in the AEC as well. He crosses the line to take the victory here at Mosport. And Carl Magnus Borre, the most dominant victor in this race here today, comes through the final couple of corners to take his first ever victory in the IVRC and in the AEC, of course, as well. LMP2 victory goes to Carl Magnus Borre. Donuts then for Lucas Murno after that astonishing race win. Acura take it from Cadillac. Orica in third position, remarkably, with another Cadillac down there in fourth. Mazda in the end DNFing on 2 attempts, or on 2 counts. Just for them, 15th on the day. Not good for those guys. All of the LMP2s finished in the end, the only class to do so. And in the end, in GTD, it was BMW from Lamborghini in second, Adrian Pichli in third for Porsche, and Teglas in fourth for Mercedes. Pichli did manage to get on the podium there for Bravo Racing Team. Well, there you have it. That has been the IVRC's American Endurance Championship here from Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate on this one. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you along with us. And I hope you'll join us in a couple of weeks' time, because we're going to be heading to Road America for another 90 minutes of action. So make sure you tune in, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get notified of when we're going to go live and when there's a race on. But until we see you in a couple of weeks at Road America, it's goodbye from us at the AEC.